another question on the book of Exodus and the series we've had so far, so thank you for those who've been sending those questions in. This question concerns Exodus 3 verse 18 as well as other places. Let me read that to us. Exodus 3:18. This is God speaking. He says to Moses, "The elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, and say to him, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God.'" The question, I think, is this. Is God encouraging Moses to lie to Pharaoh? And therefore is Moses lying as well? Because in actual fact, what the Israelites want to do is not a 3-day journey, but to leave Egypt forever. And so is this an example of God lying and encouraging one of his people, a leader of his people, to lie? Well, let me give the short answer. The short answer, I believe, is no, and there are some good reasons for that. Number one, I think, is the character of God. Elsewhere in the Bible, we're told that God cannot lie. He is truth. The Lord Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And it is impossible for God to lie from the rest of the Bible. And that's an important consideration. So that's the first answer. The second answer, apparently, is linguistic. And that is to say, this 3-day language comes again and again, especially in the Old Testament. And apparently there is some good evidence from early linguistic sources that 3 days is a kind of euphemism. It's figurative language that was well understood at the time to mean an unspecified amount of time. Sounds a bit weird to us because it seems to specify the time very clearly, but apparently not in those days. We have a rough English equivalent. I might say to you, if I wanted to spend some time with you, have you got a second? And I take it you don't think, I literally want 1 second of your time. Have you got a second means, I want to spend a bit of time with you. I'd like to chat with you. So you understand that isn't literal, and apparently Pharaoh would have understood it, this 3 days, not to be literal either. So that's the second reason. Third reason I don't think this is lying is to do with bartering and culture. There is, again, a rough modern equivalent to this. Let's imagine you wanted to sell your second-hand car, and you're going to take it down to a garage and part exchange it, and the garage owner's wife says to him, offer him £3,000, or her, offer you £3,000. Everyone knows, don't they, you included, that when that offer of £3,000 comes in, it's really just the opening bid. Nobody thinks that your car is going to go for £3,000. You're going to go backwards and forwards and haggle, and the eventual figure could be much higher. I suppose it could be much lower, but it could be much higher. And apparently, in the ancient world, bartering was just the normal way to thrash out a deal. So going to Pharaoh and saying 3 days please is just the opening bid, and in that sense God is not saying to Moses or to Pharaoh through him, just make sure you get literally 3 days. The understanding is that this is the opening bid in the bartering system, and Pharaoh would have understood it that way, that the eventual time scale will be much longer than 3 days. Presumably that's one of the reasons why he's so hard-hearted against the idea, because he knows that probably what Moses is asking for is rather a lot longer than 3 days, as it turns out to be. I hope that helps. I don't think God is lying, nor Moses, for those 3 reasons.